cool wine because there's a huge amount of noise around this style of wine at this time of year. It's the third Thursday of every November that we are allowed to start selling Beaujolais Nouveau, the new wine from Beaujolais that is bottled very quickly after harvest, bottled very quickly after fermentation, which is fermented very quickly after harvest, and only sold on the third Thursday. I don't know where that comes from, and I don't really mind. It's a nice bit of ceremony that we all kind of get excited by, and then by the time Christmas comes, we all kind of forget about it. It's fresh, juicy, bright, cherry-scented wine, and it's delicious stuff, typically speaking. And it's simple, typically speaking, and smooth, not very high in acid, and really rather tasty and juicy and fine, and well, what's the fuss? I think the fact that it comes from exactly the year's harvest that you have just witnessed. So the grapes that are in the bottle were really only growing less than 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. Yes, it's extraordinarily quick production, and the fact that it happens and that it's shipped worldwide, all with the same sign on the top saying it's illegal to sell this before the third Thursday in November, is pretty cool. So that's nice. This is not one of the more well-known wines, this particular version. This is made by Jean-Claude Lapalu. What I really like is it's got a black back. The front label is lovely too. I just like the fact that it's so quickly bottled. They lash the thing on the front, put it in the box and send it to wherever they want to buy this stuff. This is high quality Beaujolais Nouveau, and in fact it's not Beaujolais Nouveau, it's Beaujolais Village Nouveau, which means that it can only come from grapes grown in one of the Cru villages. That focuses the quality range, and in Lapalu's case almost all the stuff comes from the village of Bruy, and Bruy is a really fine wine village anyway. It's still the same grape as everybody else grows in Beaujolais for reds, it's Gamay, and it still tastes similarly of that, but Bruy itself as a village is really high quality. You get structure, you get sometimes tannin, you get depth and complexity, you still get freshness, and you still get an abundance of cherry flavours, but they're sometimes more black cherries or black currants, and not black currants, black berries. Yeah, it's a more complex wine from Bruy, and Morgon again. These are villages that are coming into their own right. Certainly not because they're from Beaujolais, just because they're really, really good. And that's lovely. So his Beaujolais Village Nouveau is almost entirely from Bruy. But in order to join the party, he calls it Beaujolais Nouveau, Beaujolais Village Nouveau. It's lovely. The reason it's a little bit more expensive is because it's really good. It's almost entirely natural. He uses a tiny little bit of sulphur just before bottling, and none in the winemaking process, and it is biodynamic, and he's been farming like this since the early 1990s. It's not at the kind of extreme end of natural, so it's not going to be fizzy, but it is with massively reduced sulphur. I think it's gorgeous. It is that some real simple, this is great, gluggy, mushy, yummy, fruity, juicy wine, but it's got a little bit more to it than that. It does have more bramble fruit. It does have a little bit more terroir evidence, and the carbonic maceration that they use to make this, or the variant of it that they use in Beaujolais, is going to put its own impact on it, a bit like using oak barrels will put its impact on the wine flavour. But in this particular example, it's really, really good, and I think it's worth every penny.